All right, buckle up because we're diving into some seriously fascinating storytelling today.
Oh, I love it.
We're going deep into the Anurag Sagar by Kabir.
You know I love Kabir.
It's like this treasure chest overflowing with stories, each one with these hidden depths.
So true.
And get this, we're about to unpack the journey of Indra Mati.
Oh, fascinating. Tell me more.
It's a story that'll really make you think, trust me.
I'm ready.
What I find so amazing about the Anurag Sagar is how Kabir takes these really complex spiritual ideas and turns them into these gripping stories.
It's like he had this gift, making these truths come alive through storytelling.
Exactly. It's like he's giving us a key to unlock these deeper layers of ourselves in the universe.
I love that. A key. That's a great way to put it.
And you know what? Indra Mati's story is the perfect example of this.
Okay, so walk me through it.
So we begin with Indra Mati arriving in this incredible realm called Sach Khand.
Ah, Sach Khand, the realm of pure bliss.
Right. Now, for those who haven't heard of it, picture this. Sach Khand is like the ultimate destination, the soul's true home.
It's where we all long to be, that state of pure joy and fulfillment.
Exactly. And so she arrives and she sees Sat Purush, this radiant divine being.
I can only imagine how awe-inspiring that must have been.
Right. Kabir paints this picture of her soul blooming like a lotus flower.
It's beautiful imagery, isn't it? That sense of expansion and awakening.
It really is. And of course, she's overwhelmed with this feeling of complete joy and fulfillment.
As you would be in that realm.
Totally. So naturally, she attributes all of this to Karunamai, her guide, who she believes is the reason she's reached this amazing place.
Makes sense, right? We often look to those who have guided us on our journeys.
Exactly. But here's where the story takes this really intriguing turn.
Oh, I love a good plot twist.
Sat Purush asks for Karunamai to be brought before him.
Okay.
Now imagine Indra Mati's surprise when Karunamai appears.
Let me guess. Karunamai looked different than she expected.
Well, kind of, but even more intriguing than that, Karunamai shows up and they look exactly like Sat Purush.
Wow, they're identical. Now that's a twist.
Right. It's like this sudden realization that the divine can take on different forms, yet its essence remains the same.
It's a powerful concept, challenging our usual ways of perceiving things.
Totally. And for Indra Mati, this encounter completely shifts her understanding.
As you can imagine.
She pours all of this into this beautiful hymn where she addresses Sat Purush as, "O Lord."
It's like she's recognizing him as this ultimate reality, this source of everything.
Exactly. She realizes her place as a soul seeking his grace.
That surrender to something greater than ourselves is a powerful thing.
It really is. And she describes Sat Purush as eternal, beyond description.
Truly beyond our limited human comprehension.
Right. She acknowledges him as the creator, the source of all mercy.
It's like that feeling you get when you stand on top of a mountain and you're just completely humbled by the vastness of it all.
I know exactly what you mean. It's like this sudden awareness of something so much bigger than ourselves.
Absolutely.
And what gets me is her immense gratitude.
Gratitude for what?
For being lifted from Yama.
Yama. As in death.
The one and only. It's like she's been freed from this cycle of death and brought to this ocean of bliss to Sach Khand.
That's quite a journey.
Right. But Kabir, he's not done with us yet.
There's more.
Oh yeah, get this. A new character is about to enter the scene. The king.
The king. Okay, I'm intrigued. This is getting good.
And trust me, things are about to get even more interesting.
I can't wait to hear what happens next. You know what's really interesting, though, is that the king's wife, she doesn't just stand by, she steps in.
Oh, this is where it gets really good.
She makes this impassioned plea to Sat Purush on the king's behalf.
Like straight up begging for her husband.
Exactly. She's totally devoted to him, can't bear the thought of him facing judgment or suffering.
That's some serious love right there.
It really is, but it also highlights something really crucial about the spiritual path. That even the strongest attachments, even love, can become obstacles on the journey if we cling to them too tightly.
So it's not about cutting ourselves off from love, but maybe about understanding its place in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that everything is temporary, and that includes our earthly relationships.
Okay, that makes sense. So what happens next?
Well, that's when Gyani, this wise figure in the story, he steps in.
Okay, I remember Gyani, he's like the voice of wisdom.
Precisely. He points out that the king's attachment to his role as king, that's what's holding him back.
You mean like he's so caught up in being king that he's neglected his spiritual growth?
Exactly. Gyani even uses this word pass, like the king missed some kind of spiritual checkpoint because of this attachment.
Whoa, a pass? That's intense.
Right. It really drives home the point that spiritual progress often requires us to loosen our grip on worldly identity, on who we think we are.
So in a way, the king was so busy being king that he forgot to tend to his soul.
Exactly. And to make matters even more intense, here comes Yamraj.
Oh no, Yamraj. He's like the Grim Reaper, right?
Pretty much the embodiment of death itself.
So what happens? Does he just whisk the king away?
Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? But remember, we're in the world of Kabir now, and things aren't always as they seem.
Okay, so there's a twist coming. I can feel it.
Instead of a final farewell, we get this incredible reunion in Sach Khand.
Wait, they reunite. I thought Yamraj was there to take the king away.
He was, but death, in the way we usually understand it, doesn't seem to have the same power in Sach Khand.
Okay, so tell me everything. What happens during this reunion?
The king, free from earthly attachments, undergoes a radical transformation. He's no longer bound to his human form and takes on the form of a Hansa.
Hansa? Isn't that a mythical swan?
It is. The Hansa is often seen as a symbol of purity, liberation, and the ability to discern between truth and illusion.
So the king becoming a Hansa, that must be super significant.
Absolutely. It's like he's finally achieved that spiritual freedom that was always within his grasp. He's free from the cycle of death and rebirth. His soul is soaring to new heights.
That gives me chills, it's like this beautiful image of transcendence. But then Kabir throws us another curveball.
He does, doesn't he? What did you think when you first heard that Kabir claimed that He was the one who came back as the king?
It's wild, right? But that's Kabir for you, always reminding us that reality is not as it appears. Anyway, he says he left the queen in Sach Khand and returned to Kashi.
He just left her there.
What?
Wow. And he went back to Kashi. What did he do there?
He went to awaken his disciple.
So he leaves this realm of pure bliss to awaken his disciple. That's dedication. It makes you think about the role of a true teacher, doesn't it? They're always there to guide us, even when we least expect it.
Absolutely. It's like their own enlightenment isn't the end goal, It's about sharing that light with others, guiding them on their own journeys. That's beautiful. So before we wrap up our deep dive into this incredible story, what are some of the biggest takeaways? What can we learn from Indra Mati's journey?
Well, for me, it's all about the power of devotion. Not just romantic love, but that deep, unwavering commitment to something greater than ourselves.
Definitely. And let's not forget the king's transformation.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He reminds us that liberation is possible, even from something as final as death, that we can break free from these cycles of suffering.
Absolutely. But it makes you wonder, what are we holding on to that might be preventing us from experiencing that same kind of freedom?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's like Gyani said with the king missing that pass. We have to examine those attachments, those identities that are holding us back.
It's a powerful message for all of us to consider. As we wrap up this episode, I want to leave our listeners with this thought. Kabir tells us that Sach Khand, this realm of pure bliss, is the soul's true home. So how can we tap into that, even while we're here, navigating the ups and downs of life? How can we carry that sense of peace, that connection to something greater with us every day?
That's a beautiful thought to end on. May we all continue to seek that bliss, that connection within ourselves and in the world around us.
Beautifully said. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the stories that illuminate our path.